Anthem gives you the ability to tailor your playstyle by equipping different exosuits. One of these exosuits is known as the Colossus. This is everything you need to know about the Colossus. First off, the Colossus is your tank exosuit. It can take a lot of damage, but it can also give out a lot of damage. It is, however, the slowest javelin and does not have a very good flight time. But to counteract this, the Colossus can use every single type of weapon in the game, including heavy weapons that only they can use. The Colossus will do good as your protector or bullet sponge on a team. You'll want to group up behind him during most encounters. Also, the Colossus will be good as a detonator build while letting the Storm, Interceptor, and Ranger do all of the priming. If you need a video on how combos work inside of the game and how priming works, I will link a video in the iCard right now for you guys to go and check that out. Every Javelin has a melee ability, with the Colossus's being the Heavy Smash. The Heavy Smash can be used as both a diving attack from the air or a hammering melee attack. This attack kills smaller enemies instantly and has a chance to knock down bigger enemies for a follow-up attack. Next, let's cover the assault gear that the Colossus has. It has two types of assault gear, the first being the Ordnance launcher gear and the second being the heavy assault launcher gear. Let's go ahead and cover the Ordnance launcher gear first. First up, we have the high explosive mortar. This launches an explosive projectile that deals heavy area of effect damage. Next, we have the burst mortar. This fires a volley of small mortars that spread out to hit a wider area of effect. Next up, we have the firewall mortar. This fires a specialized mortar that ignites a wall of flame, heavily damaging enemies that try to move through it. This will also provide a status effect to those enemies. Next up, we have the lightning coil. This strikes a random single target with an arc of electricity in front of the Colossus. It prioritizes all primed enemies first. Next up, we have the shot coil. This emits a wave of electricity out from the Colossus, damaging all nearby enemies. Next, let's cover the heavy assault launcher gear. So first up, we have the heavy cannon, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It fires a large rocket in a targeted direction. Next up, another one that sounds exactly like what it is, the flamethrower. This unleashes a continuous stream of fire to ignite enemies. This will also cause a status effect on the enemies that you can use to combo. Next up, we have the flat cannon. This attacks nearby enemies with a short range arc of projectiles. Next up, we have the Railgun, which attacks a single target with a powerful, precise kinetic round. And lastly, we have the Acid Spitter. This shoots an acid projectile to damage enemies. Now that we have all of the assault gear out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about our two support gears. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird compared to the Ranger and the Storm that we've already done videos on, because they had offensive and defensive abilities. And this one, either one of these could be considered offensive or defensive, so I'm just going to group them how I think they'll best be used in the field. First off, let's consider the defensive. The defensive ability is known as the Taunt. The Taunt is going to force all nearby enemies to attack the Colossus. Basically what the Taunt is going to be used for, it's kind of a defensive ability because it takes the pressure off of your teammates and focuses it all on you. So it's kind of defensive, but then you'll realize here in just a second exactly why the other one could possibly be considered defensive as well. Next, let's cover the offensive, which, like I said, could be considered defensive as well. And this is the Deflector Pulse. And what this does is gives all nearby allies a damage resistance buff. So it's a damage resistance buff, which means it's basically a defense buff. But if you get a defense buff in a game, then you're going to play more aggressively. So I think that this is ultimately an assault ability, ultimately an offensive ability, if you kind of look at it like that. So both of them do have defensive attributes, but I think as far as how it affects the team in total, I think the defensive ability is going to be forcing all enemies to attack you, where the offensive ability is going to give the damage resistance buff to all of your allies around you. That's just kind of how I see it, though. Maybe I'm not putting those right. Let me know how you would see it in a team situation in the comments down below. And last but not least, we have the Colossus's ultimate ability. This is the Siege Cannon. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it's meant for clearing out smaller enemies or doing extra damage to bosses. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave likes on the video, as well as if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe. I plan on doing plenty more Anthem content here in the future, especially with the demo coming up just ahead. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I do hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day.